Dear friend Boric Pedro Sanchez, brother Yamandu, we are waiting for our brother Petros, who should be in his opening table. I brought a speech that I had written out because I have learned that the only way to keep to the necessary allotted time is if you do so using a written speech, because if not, we talk for too long, and us Latin Americans, we have this defect of actually speaking a little bit too much. But I'm not going to read my speech. I would like to, Boric, to tell you a little story, and that you, when my 4 minutes are up, you can interrupt me, okay? So I'd like to talk a little bit about democracy, which is really what is at stake for the future of humanity, because only democracy will be able to rebuild the multilateralism, to rebuild harmony between human beings and civil relations between states. I am going to turn 80 on the 27th of October. I've been involved in politics ever since I was 24, and I started doing politics without being a politician. I was very proud to say that I didn't like politics, and I didn't like those who liked politics. I thought that, that was great to be able to say that. I didn't know that it was just my pure ignorance, because, the tragedy of those who do not like politics is that you're governed by those who do. And if those who like politics think different from you, we are never going to have the government that we dream of having. And I found out that it was necessary to do politics without reading anything about Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. I really haven't got the tradition, the culture of being a traditional left-wing militant. I was basically a metal worker, and I was 23, and I really, really liked football. And then, by chance, I ended up at the trade union. I never really thought about, being part of a union. Never thought I'd get involved in politics, and by chance I created a political party. And why did I create a political party? Well, because the military government in Brazil in '78, they wanted to pass a law prohibiting certain categories of workers of going on strike. And I went to Brasilia to protest against this in the Congress, against the passing of this law. And there I made the big discovery of my life. I found out that there were no workers in the National Congress. And then I went home thinking, how is it that me, a metal worker, want them to vote laws in favor of the working class if we have no one from the working class in the National Congress? This was this big discovery that I made in my life, and that is when I created a political party. My political party, with just 8 years, they ran for president. And I thought that it was just humanly impossible for a metal worker to become president of the republic through vote. In '89, I found out that it was possible, because I ran with all the big political, dogs, the big dogs of the Brazilian politics. And me, a simple metal worker, I came second in that election. We went to the second round, and I had 47% of votes. From that election, I called a meeting called the Soil of São Paulo, and I called all of the Latin American left wing to tell them that it was possible through, the organization of workers. It was possible for us to reach the presidency of the Republic, and this is how we created the São Paulo Forum. Just for you to have an idea, the Dominican Republic, they had 15 left-wing organizations, Argentina 20, and no one talked with anyone. Everyone, was an enemy of the other. The only thing that actually managed to get the Argentinians together was Bani Moradi. And then because of this need of everyone to actually do politics. And what is my experience, Boric? Well, my experience, Boric, is that I came second in 89, then in 94, then in 98, then I won it in 2002, I won it in 2006, we were the first 2010, 2014, we were second in 2018 when I couldn't run, and we were first in 2022 when I came back. So what do we need to do to ensure secure democracy? Me, you, Yamandu, Pedro Sanchez, and all of us. We need to wake up every day and ask, what are we going to do for democracy? When we, go to bed at night, put your head on your pillow, ask yourself, what did you do during the day to strengthen democracy? How many people did you talk to about democracy today? How many people did you talk about the need of popular organization? How many people did you call to get organized? Because my party, when it was created, we had category nucleus. We had nucleus per area, per village, per workplace, study place. So it was organized civil society in their place of work, place of living, and this made democracy happen. And I ask everyone, what do we do today? I mean, let's really, really think about this, What did we do yesterday for democracy? And with how many people did we talk about democracy about? How many people did we talk about, popular organization? How many people about organization per place of housing, study, work, your neighborhood? I mean, the truth is we didn't talk about democracy. And if we didn't talk about this, we didn't organize it. And if we don't organize it, then democracy loses. Because what gets me restless, right, brother Boric, and now I'm going to finish with this comment. Okay, Boric, for me, what's important is for us to answer ourselves is where did, Democrats go wrong? Where is it that the left really went wrong? Why did we allow the far right to grow, with the strength that it is growing? Is it their virtue or is it our incompetence? Let's answer ourselves. What did we not do in order to strengthen democracy? Where did we go wrong? What did I do as President of the Republic to strengthen the social and popular organizations? Because a lot of the times we win the elections with a discourse of, from the left, but when we start to govern, we end up supplying for the interests of our enemies much more than our friends. Many times we govern, replying to the press and the public opinion on us. Have the demands from the market, the need to consider the market, the need to, consider the adversaries, and many times our voters who went out on the streets, who were beaten, they were whipped. They are considered by us radical voters. And we start not paying attention to them, and we start paying attention to those who actually badmouth us. This is the failure of democracy. So what did we not do? And I think that we, left many things out. And in a second moment, I need to say what we didn't do. So I think, that before we try and find the virtue of the far-right extremism, we need to find the mistakes that democracy has made in relation to civil society. How are we exercising democracy in our countries? Because if we manage to find this answer, we'll, win and we will beat the far right again. If we do not find an answer, we're going to continue to be smothered by denialism, by extremism, and by the fascist discourse that we are seeing now. Thank you.